Greetings and salutations, this is Rick. I hope you're having a great day. Welcome to this little personal video log. This is now my third video log from staying at home. So it's official, the UK is locked down and nobody is allowed out except for key workers and NHS staff, people like that, and we can still go out. The encouragement or the rule is to take exercise once a day, either by walking or cycling. So I've dusted off my my bicycle, and I think I may be taking advantage of that rule. Obviously the social distancing rules apply, so you can't stop and chat with people on the street, or if you do, you've got to stay, I think it's like 2 meters away or whatever, but I have no intention of doing anything like that. So I may just go for a little cycle. There's some nice little cycle routes nearby, and just nice to get a bit of fresh air, get the blood pumping. I have already been on the treadmill this morning. But I will, I think, just have a little look out on the bike, because I'm a little bit curious as well, just to see how quiet it is out there. I've looked out of the upstairs windows and I can't see a soul anywhere. And so it's going to be interesting going for a ride. Now, I've also noticed it's incredibly quiet. I've been sat out in the back garden, and the number of cars going around the road sort of nearby are so minimal. And there's no aircraft overhead as well. I mean, very, very occasionally you'll get the odd aircraft, but that's it. Normally you can sort of, they're kind of constant. They're way up there, but obviously you've still got that aircrafty sound. But it's so quiet. I can sit in my back garden. In fact, I turned off my little fountain yesterday, and I just sat in the garden and listened to the silence, and I could just hear the blood ringing through my ears. You know, you get that little high pitched, that's all I could hear. It was quite surreal. So the reason I'm making these videos is just, to be honest, a little bit of light escapism, a little bit of light entertainment. I try never to be like too serious and stuff in my videos, especially now at the moment. I'm the kind of person who, I don't actually take life that seriously. I've got various issues myself that I'm constantly living with and trying to deal with, and I find if I start taking life seriously as well, it makes them more compounding. So I tend to try to take a little bit of a light-hearted approach to the things I do, and I'm hoping by sharing that in these videos, it's just a little bit of light distraction for anybody who happens to watch them and enjoy them. And I must admit, sometimes I'm making these videos and there's this little thought in the back of my mind saying, why do people want to watch this? It's just, I would find this really boring to just kind of watch somebody else's life as they're, whatever they're doing. But the feedback in the comments has always been, we enjoy this sort of thing. So if you guys are happy to tag along and watch, then I'm more than happy to make these videos. Right then, so I finally managed to clean up my shed. I spent an entire day doing it, and I've now got access to my astronomy or telescope control equipment. So 2 nights ago I set up the telescope and decided I was going to have a telescope session. I had the cameras all set up and everything, but it was a disaster. I had a power supply issue to the telescope. Now, originally I had this big power unit that went into the mains voltage, and it had a 12-volt cigarette lighter socket on the end of it, and that's what powered the telescope. But it went missing. I think I was doing some work on my 12-volt fridge in the kitchen, and I borrowed the power supply from here, and then it completely vanished, and I have no idea where I put it. And I turned the whole house upside down trying to find it. Couldn't find it. So in the end I ordered a new power supply. And that arrived. Now, I didn't test it on the telescope. I actually tested it for the first time on the telescope 2 nights ago, and it's not powerful enough to run the telescope. It's basically a mains to 12-volt cigarette lighter socket, and it's only a 6.5 amp power supply, and it's not powerful enough. So I did have a leisure battery, which I've got there, and it was basically as flat as a pancake. It operated the telescope for a few minutes and then it just died. And I've only just found that I've got a charger. So the plan was I was going to make a, because we're expecting clear skies tonight, so I was going to get the telescope out tonight and see if I can make a, you know, an astronomy video, but I need to charge that battery. However, 5 minutes ago I solved the mystery. I'm clearing out another room, which is basically another junk room. I've got all this stuff that's you know, sort of appeared there, and I'm trying to sort it all through, and I found the original power pack. And this is a 10 amp power pack, so it's much more powerful, and this is what I originally used to power the telescope. And again, you've got the little 12 volt socket there that it goes into, and it turns out I'd used this to inflate a guest bed. I've got a little motor that you use for inflating beds, and it's got a 12 volt cigarette lighter socket on it. So that's where it was. This was hiding amongst all my camping gear. So to cut a long story short, that means I can now set up the telescope tonight and with the power supply, and hopefully be able to make an astronomy video. We're expecting clear skies tonight, and there shouldn't be any smog around or any haze around. There was 2 nights ago when I had the telescope set up, there was like a bit of haze around. But hopefully tonight it should be clear, and I might get some good pictures, possibly. Although a lot of the astronomical objects, all the best ones are out of sight at this time of year. So we'll have a scratch around the sky, see what we can find, and that will be in another video, hopefully coming up within the next few days. Right, I think it's time we headed out and did our little exercise bike routine outside. We'll take a look outside. I've got a helmet cam that I'm going to wear, so hopefully you guys can come along with me, and we'll see what's what. So I'll see you in a second. Right, so this is the setup we're using. It looks like quite a rig on the top of my head, but hopefully you should be able to see what's going on. This is the GoPro Hero 7 with an audio input adapter that goes into the USB lead on the side, and then this 3.5mm jack goes into the Rode Wireless Go at the top, which has a receiver for this transmitter, which, oops, where are we? Here, this is the Rode Wireless Go transmitter. It's got the little fur dead cat on it. Hopefully that's going to take care of any wind noise from riding along. So I'm just going to clip that on there, and we should be good to go. So let's give it a go. All right then, hopefully you can hear me okay. Hopefully the wind noise isn't too overwhelming. The plan is pretty simple. Touch no one, go near no one. Get my exercise and get home. Stay out of people's way. That's my plan. Now, I do want to go and have a look at the. We've got a little lake not far from the house, so it's usually quite pleasant to have a look there. Now hopefully the camera's at a decent enough angle so that you're not just looking at the ground or just looking at the sky. I've put it on super wide mode, so you've got the best chance of getting at least a reasonable view. Again, I have no idea what the audio is going to be like. We shall see. All right. A thumbs up from someone. Here we go. There's a big lake. Oh, the water was really full. I used to, when I was ill over Christmas, I was going for walks past here, and the water was right up to the top of the brickwork there. So the water levels have dropped quite a lot, which is good. But oh wow, there's a heron. So if you can see it, I have no idea whether you're pointing at it. It's where the little bit of land juts out. There's a heron doing a bit of wading. Yeah, on a GoPro, anything even slightly in the distance is almost invisible. That was a swan. We'll see if we can follow the river up a little bit. There's another big lake further up. I'll head up that way. Hopefully you're not getting too wobbly. This is the Hero 7, so it's got reasonable stabilizer on it. It's sort of the equivalent of a gimbal. I'm presuming I've got it switched on. I think I have. Hopefully I have. Otherwise this will be unwatchable. The problem with the Hero 7 is I'm thinking of replacing it. At the moment it's my main camera. I use it for pretty much everything, vlogging mostly, but it is my main go-to camera. But it's been unreliable. So first of all, I'm hoping this video footage all comes out and the camera hasn't stopped. But when I was doing that astronomy video yesterday, which I ended up deleting in the end because it all went disastrously wrong, but the camera just stopped working for no apparent reason. So this is very quiet. I was half expecting to be on the grass here going past dog walkers, but because dog walkers usually go along here, the river just runs along to the right here. Wow, a lot of people doing garden work, which makes sense if you're stuck at home. Beautiful day like today. This is one of the reasons I'm coming out to be outside. It's not that often we get beautiful days like this, so it seemed a bit criminal to stay inside. I think my bell was going to work then. That's working now. So yeah, a few people out, but they're all apart from each other. Oop. All right. All right, I'm going that way. Yeah. Yeah, I came here when it was really wet, and this thing was just a torrent. It was unreal. Everybody distancing themselves. It's good. Whew. Well, definitely get some exercise. All right, yeah. It's interesting, actually. I don't think I've ever spoken so much to people whilst out on this particular route. Seem to have brought out the I don't know, the social niceties in people, which is good. Ooh, lots of people.
How do I stay out of their way? Maybe a detour. Let's go this way. Empty play parks. It's quite sad really on a nice day like today. You'd think it would be full of folks, but they're staying away. Right then. Okay, that's my exercise for the day. I think it's time to head on home, and I'll see you back there. There we go, that's the bike ride done, and obviously the name of the game there was to get some exercise, which we're legally allowed to do on our bikes or for a walk, and obviously to stay away from or distance myself from people as much as possible. That's what I managed to do, even though there were quite a few people out there. On the way back I did see a group of lads hanging around, all within close proximity to each other, so not everybody heeding the warnings, but for the most part, everybody seemed to be distancing themselves, which was, I guess, as good to see. Everybody actually taking notice and actually giving a damn about the idea of not passing this thing around. So I'm overall quite pleased. It was interesting though, because it also brought out the social niceties. Even though we were distancing, and you know, every time I went past somebody, 9 times out of 10 I got a nod or a hello, or a, you know, somebody said we meet again, because I saw them going around the lake, and that was nice. Obviously this nice weather is going to bring people out, but it was good to see everybody is heeding the advice that everybody's been given about this, and obviously everybody setting out with the best of intentions to try not to do anything that would endanger others by helping to spread this thing. So that's really good. So anyway, I'm happy now. I've had a nice little run, nice little workout, well, run on the bike. So I'm feeling quite energized and refreshed for doing that. Obviously we're locked down for 3 weeks. Well, we're a few days into week 1 of 3 weeks. Anything can happen, but I'm really hoping at the end of 3 weeks they can lift the ban, and maybe, I think what they keep talking about going in waves. So if everything starts dropping off and the numbers start dropping down again, then they can lift the ban for a little bit. They might imply it again to prepare for the next wave. But I think the whole point of this is just so that when people do come down with this, it's not going to overwhelm the health service, the National Health Service. And from what I've seen from my little neck of the woods, it does seem to be that people are taking the advice. So fingers crossed, this all pays off, and the whole reason for us doing this actually is a thing, and it does work. That'll be good. I've just gone through all of the footage that I've taken, and fortunately it's all come out fine. As I was saying earlier about this is the GoPro Hero 7. I just don't trust it anymore. It's let me down a few times this month. Now I have replaced the firmware on it, and it has become a little bit more reliable, but I'm still nervous about using it, and I'm still second guessing every time I hit the stop button whether or not it's captured the footage. And you just cannot as a creator, you just cannot work like that. So I may be looking at another camera. A friend of mine who's doing a world tour at the moment, Steve, he uses a little Sony. I can't remember the name of it. It's either like a little sports cam or a handy cam or something. I'm going to look further into it. But he uses this all the time. It gives him fantastic vlogging footage, and it's a proper little workhorse, and it seems to be a really good little camera. So I may look into getting one of those. We'll see, because obviously it's a lot of money. But anyway, that's something I can look into over the coming weeks. So that's it from me. I shall go away now and edit this video and hopefully put it up today. And I will see you in the next video. So until then, as they say in Japan, suzuku. And if you can work out what that is, put it in the notes below. If not, I'll let you know in the next video. Until then, take care and we'll see you again. Look after each other and be good.